The story begins in a Canada where, due to overpopulation, the government has banned having more than one child. No one is allowed to have a second child, even if their first child dies. Anyone who breaks this law is sent to the most dangerous prison in the country. There is very tight security at the Canada, where people are fully checked before being allowed to cross. Today's movie name is Fortress released. In a car, a man named John, who was once a soldier, is traveling with his wife, Karen. Karen is wearing a magnetic vest under her coat. She is actually pregnant and wants to go far away to give birth to her second child. The vest helps hide her pregnancy during security checks. While soldiers were checking everyone's belongings, they arrested a girl for being pregnant. Karen got even more scared when she saw the girl being arrested, but her magnetic vest saved her during the check. After they got out, one of the soldiers noticed Karen's magnetic vest. Many soldiers started chasing them. To save his wife and their baby, John told Karen to run while he stayed behind to stop the soldiers. John was captured and taken to a prison with other prisoners. This prison was called Fortress, the most high-tech jail in the country and built in the middle of a desert. Escaping from there was nearly impossible. When the prisoners arrived, the guards completely checked them again. The guards conducted a full-body check. After that, they were taken to a room where a high-tech tracker was implanted in their stomachs. If any prisoner broke the prison's rules, the system would activate and tear their stomach apart. Director Poe explained the rules that if any prisoner crossed the yellow line, they would feel severe stomach pain, and if they crossed the red line, they would die. One frightened prisoner accidentally stepped over the yellow line and collapsed in pain. He then crossed the red line accidentally, and his stomach began to swell rapidly. Within moments, his stomach exploded. After witnessing this, all the prisoners were taken underground by an elevator to the main jail, which was 30 floors deep beneath the surface. John was placed in a cell with a prisoner named Nino. To prevent prisoners from escaping, laser beams were installed outside every cell. John soon met other prisoners, including Dee Dee and Abraham. Before sleeping that night, Abraham warned John not to dream. Once everyone was asleep, a robot came to check on them. Using advanced technology, it scanned John's mind and accessed his dreams. In the dream, John saw his wife, Karen. From the monitoring room, Director Poe also saw John's dream and noticed Karen. Since dreaming was not allowed, Poe activated John's security device. Intense stomach pain woke John up immediately. The next day, while working, a prisoner named Maddox tried to bully Nino. John quickly stepped in to save him. To stop the fight, Robot activated the devices in all three of their stomachs, causing extreme pain. After this, the three were put into a small laser cell and questioned about who started the fight. Nino, scared of Maddox, stayed silent. To protect his friend, John took the blame. John was then taken to Poe's office, where Poe was watching Karen showering. It was revealed that Karen had also been captured and sent to the prison. Poe began to brutally torture both John and Karen. Later, Abraham told John that all the women were kept on floors A and B, which meant Karen was likely there. Meanwhile, Karen was in the women's jail with another pregnant woman. When the other woman felt intense stomach pain, the guards immediately approached her. The guards forcefully took the pregnant woman away. Karen realized that something terrible was being done to the newborn babies. Meanwhile, in the men's prison, Maddox attacked John, and a fierce fight broke out between them. Karen, from her floor, saw John fighting and was shocked. The fight was intense, but suddenly, John pushed Maddox from a height. Maddox barely managed to hold onto the edge and save himself. From the office, Poe ordered John to kill Maddox. However, John refused and saved Maddox instead. Angered by this, Poe activated the device in Maddox's stomach, causing it to explode. Before the guards could take Maddox's body, John cleverly removed Maddox's security device and gave it to Nino. After this, Karen was taken to a separate room. Karen was brought to a room where John was tied to a large spinning machine called the Mind Wipe Chamber. Poe had sent Karen to convince John to follow his orders, but after a few moments, the guards dragged her out. The machine started spinning rapidly, causing John's mind to break down. This was Poe's punishment for disobedience. John began to relive memories of his military training and his wedding with Karen. 3 days later, Poe called Karen to his office. He couldn't understand how John had survived the machine for so long, when most people died within an hour. Poe then gave Karen an offer that if she divorced John and agreed to be with him, he would release both John and their unborn child. Thinking about her husband and child, Karen agreed. When John returned to his cell, he was like a lifeless body. He didn't talk to anyone, stayed silent, and no longer felt any physical pain. Meanwhile, Karen began living with Poe. One night, Karen saw Poe sitting on a chair with wires connected to his body. It was revealed that Poe had been modified into an advanced human. He didn't need food, water, or sleep. Once a month, He connected himself to the wires to consume amino acids, which were his only source of nourishment. Karen also discovered the horrifying truth about the prison-born babies. Through multiple operations, the babies were turned into advanced humans like Poe. The goal was to create a world free from hunger, thirst, and human weaknesses. For months passed, but John's condition did not improve. He remained unresponsive, lost in his own silence. Abraham told John that Karen's belly was growing and their baby would soon come into the world. John didn't move, but a single tear rolled down his cheek. That night, Karen tricked Poe and making him drink a lot of alcohol until he slept out. She then used the control panel to enter John's dreams. In the dream, John was a child stuck in a pit. Karen pulled him out of the pit, and this brought John back in real life. Seeing him awake and better, everyone close to him was relieved. John decided to escape the prison with Karen and asked Abraham for help. Abraham agreed to take the risk for John. Nino later gave John the security device that they had taken from Maddox's body. It turned out that their friend D-Day, who was an expert in computers before arriving at the prison, decided to analyze the device thoroughly. Meanwhile, Karen managed to steal a diamond-like object from Poe's room. As she was about to be caught, she quickly hid the object in her mouth. The next day, Karen gave the diamond-like object to Abraham, asking him to deliver it to John. The truth came out that the diamond-like object was a detailed map of the entire prison. Using this map, they began to plan their escape carefully. The story continues as John and the other prisoners plan their escape. They discover that they can exit the prison through the construction site by following a detailed map. The next morning, Abraham returned the map to Poe's office to avoid suspicion. Meanwhile, Dee figured out how the security devices implanted in their bodies worked. He discovered that the devices contained powerful magnets. Using this knowledge, they removed the security trackers from their bodies. The team was ready to execute their plan. They placed their trackers on a pipe in the construction area and pretended to fight each other. When the robot guard noticed the fight, it activated the trackers. The devices exploded, blasting the pipe open and creating an escape route. However, Poe quickly discovered the escape attempt. From the control room, he released extremely hot air into the pipes to stop them. The intense heat made it almost impossible to move, and some prisoners were severely burned. Despite this, John, Karen, Nino, Abraham, and Dee pushed forward. As they neared the exit, guards began firing at the escaping prisoners. John fought bravely to hold off the guards and give the others time to escape. Karen and Nino managed to move ahead. High-tech robots started firing bullets at all the prisoners. They were now trapped in the pipe. A prisoner in a panic tried to go back to the prison, but the robots shot him to death. Meanwhile, Abraham reached the prison to rescue Karen, but Poe arrived just then. He killed Abraham, and the guards dragged Karen away, intending to turn her child into an advanced human as well. Meanwhile, John's team managed to kill one of the robots, but they realized that the robots were actually advanced humans. John picked up a gun and fought his way back to the prison. Eventually, they all got into an elevator and started heading up. They searched for Karen in Poe's cabin. Just then, John saw Karen on a screen that doctors were forcibly extracting his and Karen's baby. John threatened Poe to stop the operation, but Poe was no longer the director, so no one listened to him. At that moment, a robot recognized them and attacked. But the John quickly moved aside, and the bullet hit Poe, killing him. After Poe's death, Dee tried to stop the doctors from continuing the operation by using the control panel, but before he could, a soldier shot him. John avenged his friend's death, and with Dee's remaining strength, he shut down the entire prison's electrical system. The security system was also shut down, allowing all the prisoners to escape. Only John and Nino were left behind. They rushed to save Karen, freed her from the doctors, and took her in a prison truck. The three of them crossed the Mexican border before stopping. Karen was about to give birth, but suddenly, the truck started moving on its own. It turned out that the prison was still controlling the truck. The truck ran over and killed Nino. John went outside to look while Karen was in a shack. John blew up the truck, but unfortunately, it crashed into the shack, and Karen got trapped under the truck. John searched for his wife, but at the right moment, she managed to escape. She was safe, holding a beautiful baby in her arms. In the end, John and Karen were successful in saving their child. As they looked at their baby, John and Karen felt pure happiness and vowed to protect their child at all costs. How much do you love your parents? Share in the comments with just one line.